going into the last couple of weeks, Brock, Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, and Dak Prescott, and then people would throw in Lamar Jackson. But it depends on how you view this award. And Zach, I know you've been waiting to talk about this for a very long time.
Both of us.
I think I know, but I still think that Brock Purdy had a bad game, Nick, and it happens, and it was a bad game for Brock. It really was.
Was it a bad game for Brock or a really good game by the Ravens?
I think the Ravens defense is the reason why he looks so bad.
I agree.
And I think that that's okay. I think that's okay to say. Having said that, though, if it's a quarterback, it's Lamar Jackson, right? I think it's fair to say. But Zach, I know I'll give you and Brad can have your word because you've not been the most courteous to Brock, which I still disagree with.
I know I've been viewed, Nick, as a Brock Purdy hater because I said that Christian McCaffrey should be the MVP over him. Still saying he's a top 3 candidate, but because I said CMC's better, I'm a massive Brock Purdy hater. I'm not sure if you've noticed.
I can see that.
I know it's incredible.
Yeah,
but
I also may have said that you.
Yeah.
I said that if there was a top 15 quarterback in that San Francisco offense, they would all look like all-pro quarterbacks in that system. And look, I don't play football. I just go based off of what I'm seeing. You got Debo, you got Ayuk, you got CMC, you got Trent Williams in the trenches. You put a good quarterback, doesn't have to be great, doesn't have to be elite. You put a good quarterback behind them. The eye test to me says they're all going to do well because of the superstars that they have around them. And again, it wasn't a necessarily a dig at Brock Purdy. It was just that Brock Purdy, in my opinion, wasn't the best player, still isn't the best player on the team. It's Christian McCaffrey.
No. Yeah, I think that offense still runs through Christian McCaffrey, and we saw it last night. I mean, the one interception of Patrick Queen was there trying to check it down to Christian McCaffrey. And whenever the 49ers last night were behind and they needed something to happen, what did they do? They force-fed Christian McCaffrey. They tried to get him out in screens and space. They tried to get him over the middle, get him to run outside. They were trying their hardest to get him involved and finished over 130 yards total, a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, no matter what he does, is going to get 100 yards and a touchdown. I mean,
he finds a way.
Yeah, it's just
he's a freak.
It's insane. And that's why I'm saying it's not like you said, Brad, a dig at Purdy to say that McCaffrey is the focal point of that offense. And I think last night kind of proved that, if Purdy, he's going to have bad games. And any quarterback, I don't want to say any quarterback, but a top 10 quarterback is going to have them in that position where I'm not sure even if there are other top 5 running backs who could replace Christian McCaffrey in that system and do what he's doing. Just because he can do everything with the receiving and the rushing, he takes that whole offense to such a different level.
Yeah, but okay, I still I want your opinion here on this, Nick. I still think that Brock Purdy should still be in the conversation, and one game doesn't define a player. Now it's going to be what he does after this and what he does moving forward. I just think that the Ravens are that damn good defensively. I thought it was an excellent play. There was some tip passes, but that was because of the pressure that they brought, getting your hands up and making plays. That's all on Baltimore. I think it was a more testament to the Ravens, not necessarily that Brock Purdy was so terrible. I think the Ravens were that damn good. But I think the conversation goes to most outstanding player. And if that's the case, you probably say Christian McCaffrey. Off of his numbers alone, Christian McCaffrey. If you're going to say most valuable player, you look at when the stars or when the lights shine brightest, Lamar Jackson's out there doing everything humanly possible on offense. No quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes has more wins than Lamar Jackson since 2018. And regardless of what his numbers look like, when the teams, whoever that the Ravens face, Lamar Jackson found a way. And to be honest, with a game with a lot of stars on the field last night, Lamar Jackson might have been the best on the field out of all the players. And that's saying something because that defense, I think you could make a case that all of them deserve that they're the best. But Lamar Jackson against the unit that they said would pulverize, he was nothing short of sensational. So, Nick, I guess I ask you. Actually, one more thing. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, so before Nick responds, because I wanted to get his thoughts on this too, it's a lot of people whoever is part of the voting for MVP, and especially a lot of ESPN talking heads, what have you, are solely looking at passing yards and passing touchdowns when it comes to this. And when they compare quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson total touchdowns, I think, is 22, 23, and his total yards is 41. So 4,100. So you combine total yards and with him and Brock Purdy, he's got the same amount of yards as Brock Purdy. He's got a few less touchdowns, but that's because Gus the Bus has been a touchdown machine. So
he has like 12 1-yard rushing touchdowns.
He's a red zone freak.
Right. So my thing is, it's like we're comparing if the MVP is all about stats and nobody's looking at anything else. You have to, especially with the way that quarterbacks are being built in today's league, because Lamar isn't the only guy anymore that is the type of dynamic player that he is. He's the most dynamic, but you look at Jalen Hurts and the Kyler Murrays and all that. They're not taking into account their full body of work. They're just looking at their passing numbers, and I just think that is completely unfair.
Yeah, Nick,
I agree. I agree with that. I think this, I think Ryan kind of alluded to it earlier. Is it the best player on the best team, or is it just the best player? And I think that's similar to the GOAT conversation with, or winning championships more important than all the titles or scoring titles and all that stuff. I'm biased. I think Lamar is the best player in the NFL, so you give him the MVP. Also, he's on the best team in the NFL, so I think he should get it. But I think you're right with CMC. I definitely think he's their offense. Like they go as he goes. Brock is an unbelievable player, and he's played really, really well over the last 2 seasons. Coming in late round guy or whatever, and being able to kind of defy the odds, if you will. But I think you're right. I don't think they take into account all the stuff that Lamar is capable of doing. Yeah. I think, Patrick runs, Josh Allen runs, Kyler runs. I understand that, but they primarily throw touchdowns. Like, Pat's throwing, a lot of touchdowns all the time. He's a passing quarterback.
Yeah. And even if they get to the 1-yard line, they do these little shovel passes to Kelsey.
Those count. Those are,
those are passing
any
touchdowns.
Forward pass that it counts as a touchdown. Even if it's like catching the shotgun and flip it forward and the guy runs it for a touchdown like they've had in the past. Yeah. That's a touchdown. But I think Lamar, I don't think he's playing for that, but I think he's put on a case. He's definitely put together a really nice resume. And especially if we finish as the best team in the NFL, a guy that went like from last year, how we, and even the last 2 years, how we were really good. And then Lamar goes down, he's out. Last year, I think we did better than we did in 2021. We were able to still find our rhythm and still play well and win games and get to the playoffs. But it's hard to say Lamar is not the MVP, in my opinion. I think he's the best player in the game at the moment.
I forget who posted it, but I saw on Twitter earlier today, it was the Michael Jordan with all the MVPs, and it said Lamar Jackson if the Ravens ever called a quarterback sneak on the 1. And it's so true. We just get to the 1-2 yard line, and in Philadelphia, it's okay, tush push. And in Baltimore, it's okay, hand it to Gus. And that's the difference. People look and they'll go, well, Lamar's only averaging like 1.5 touchdowns over the past, 10 weeks. And it's like, okay, well, he gets them 99 yards down the field, then turns around and hands it to Gus, and it's still 7 points. He got them down there. It doesn't matter if he's pushed in or hands it off. The point, and what Lamar always talks about, is he wants to win games. He doesn't care about.
That's all he cares about.
He doesn't care about sitting there going, no, coach, push me in. I need to I want a few more touchdowns.
Yeah, get those stats up.
Yeah, it's he could, at least from a fan and from stories you hear, he's someone who's I don't care if coach, how many times, twice on 4th down this year, we've seen Lamar run to the Wildcat. And it's if it means we're going to go improve as a team, I don't need to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think that's a big part. And I see some comments here. Ace, you seem new. Welcome to the channel, by the way. Thanks for stopping by. I think for guys, this could be a conversation. If the Dolphins come in and win, then Tua deserves more credit. I think Tyreek, if he gets 2,000 yards in a season, it's not even commendable. It's unheard of yet in the NFL. And he missed a game, so it'd be for 16. But I think the point of what we're saying is Lamar's value is not necessarily going to be measured with how many touchdowns he scored. It's going to be and the evolution of his game. You know what I've loved the last 2 games, by the way? This is what, like, this is like coach speak, I feel like they'd say. The Ravens have won the last 2 games. What, against the Jaguars? It was they had 1 turnover, but they forced 3, if I'm not mistaken. This last game they forced 5.
Yeah.
And you can say, well, you don't want to beat yourself. Playing clean football and getting points and being smart and making good decisions matters. And I think that Lamar is even doing that better than anyone has given him credit for this year. He's been tremendous. Across the board, he's been tremendous. And then he'll have the electrifying plays that everyone talks about. I think because he's not having those dazzling plays that he had maybe in 2019 as much, the Houdini and the runs for 50 yards.
That play before the end of the half last night
was one of them.
That was one of those
really good play.
Those people this year will sit there and say Lamar's not running the ball. Has Lamar slowed down? Maybe he doesn't have the same burst that he once had. And then it's like, no, I think someone said he understands that his speed is like a sports car. You don't take the sports car out to go to the grocery store. Yeah. He's not going to go try to do everything. A lot of things over the past few years when we've gotten in trouble is because at the first sight of, there's a breakdown, Lamar was just, I'm going to go play superhero. And now he understands, okay, I'm going to hang behind the line, not take the hit, and throw it 15 yards down the field to Odell, who's running there, Zay, who's broke free. But that does not mean that race car is not there. And we saw yesterday, as soon as he hits the open field, I mean, you see it from a lot on-field perspective. Is it so much more fast? Like, people say it's way faster on the field than you can even understand.
It's one of the most effortless things I've ever seen. And the way he can just get up and go is electric. But I think Lamar gets so much unnecessary criticism because before it was, all he does when the pocket breaks down, he runs. He does, he keep one read and go kind of guy. And now it's like he's not doing that. He's sitting in the pocket. He's going through his progression. He's picking out good throws. He's executing very accurate and on-time throws. He's doing really, obviously doing a great job. And now they're saying, he doesn't run enough.
Yeah.
Like what? Just last year or the year before, they're like, this guy can't pass in the NFL because all he does is when things break down is he leaves the pocket. And I think it's a totally ridiculous criticism of Lamar Jackson. And I think he does better than anyone can take it, brush it off. And you said it earlier, all he cares about is winning. I think the Super Bowl to him is far more important than winning the MVP. And I think that's what he's going for. And if he has to share the love with everyone else, he doesn't. So be it.
Yeah, it's he's on a mission. He's on a mission where, and even after the game, when they asked him how excited are you about the Ravens, you can win next week and be the number 1 seed. It's like, well, we've been there and we got to keep playing.
Yeah, that was incredible how he said that.
Yeah, and I think that to me just shows you all you need to know. That the awards don't mean anything. And to be fair, what's everyone say about Lamar too now? Like, just with him in general, can't win the playoffs, can't win the big game. So if he's the MVP and he wins and he doesn't win the playoffs, people are still going to shit on him. And that's the thing that sucks. You're like, what do you want from him?
Someone's got to be the bad guy, okay?
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
If Patrick Mahomes is, Superman, someone's got to be the kryptonite. And I think
Lamar. I think Lamar has okay been that.
I don't know. I've never asked him, but I feel like he thrives in that.
I think
he does a good job at it.
Like you said, I don't think he'll ever really say it, but I think he enjoys being doubted. And the fact that each week he gets to go and put on a show and prove that all these naysayers, he's got to try out at wide receiver. He can't do this in the NFL. Oh, he runs too fast. He runs too quickly. Oh, he doesn't run fast enough because he's holding onto the ball. It's just always the goalposts are going to change. And it feels like every game he just checks off another, can't use that against him anymore. And I think he enjoys that fact of each game. It's just another checklist of, well, we said he couldn't do that, and then he went and did it. I mean, that one throw he made, I think it was in the second quarter where he's running to the sideline.
To Isaiah?
Yeah.
Come on.
Who makes that throw? His feet are in the air, and he puts a dot on him. But I was told by Twitter GMs he's still running back.
Well, and here's the other thing. My biggest compliment that a player can get is even when I played or any sport that I did, if someone on the opposing teams were like, damn, that you're a beast, or like, damn, that guy's good. Like, that guy's unbelievable. When you hear the other players in the NFL talk about Lamar Jackson, none of them are saying he can't play quarterback. He can't do this. It's, damn, dude, Lamar he's unstoppable. How do you stop him? I think that people are starting to recognize that more. And to me, that's the most valuable thing.
Yeah.
His peers are realizing that he is an absolute stud. And if you want to criticize him, that's fine. Everyone in Baltimore here are thankful and ecstatic that he's the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm glad we got number 8.
Yeah.
That dude's a beast.
Preach.
I'll take him any day of the week.
I like to say, as long as 8 is lacing them up, I like our chances every time we take the field.